welcome back to our little cozy corner on the internet. Can I call it that? I don't think that fits. It's more like the emotionally unhinged trying to regulate while we don't crash out about our lives, but we're going to make fun of it because if we have to go through it, we're going to grow through it and we're also going to laugh a lot. I'm your emotional support comedian, Julie Story, and if you're new here, hi. You might have seen my videos on the internet where I'm playing skits and making fun of just random things in life. And thank you for coming along this long form video. We're going to get to know me a lot more, and you're also going to laugh, cry, maybe hear some things that you needed to hear because I need to hear more people keeping it real on the internet. So that's why I'm here. I do want to say this episode, we are taking a turn in the best way. And I can't even tell you how amazing it is to say that instead of my life falling apart, it does feel like it is falling to place. And I am going to process that together with you because, spoiler, when you've had trauma in your life, sometimes it's hard to even feel the feelings of excitement because the impending doom and the past demons that have invaded your life and haunted you do like to put up billboards, if you will, in your emotional mind space, letting you know that everything could, in fact, fall apart shortly. But we're going to talk about that. But first, I do have to let you know, I already know that my ponytail is disproportionate, okay? Before you say it, I'm just going to say it. I wanted to do a cute high pony slick back moment, but I did accidentally not recreate one of the Pinterest ponytail baddies, and I have a lopsided pony. And I think this is just really indicative of what by we, I mean I have come to know and expect in my life, that when I try something, there's always just something slightly off. And you know what? It's fine. You know what? We're going to embrace the process of learning. We're going to grow through our mistakes. We are going to celebrate what we did get correct. And it's not the hair proportioned being all around. I do feel like it is important to say that a lot of the Pinterest ponies that you see, it is hair extensions. So don't compare yourself to hair extensions, okay? Write that down. That needs to go on a hoodie because it is an internet full of lies. And that's why I'm keeping it honest with you around here. I will blame the disproportionate pony on being quite understaffed around here because I am in fact the only one on staff and I'm still upset about that. Okay, every time that it is a birthday or Mother's Day, I wake up in the morning and I lean over to my amazing supportive husband and I ask him what time the glam team is arriving. And every single time he has to tell me that they are in fact not arriving. And I'm still upset about that, okay? I don't want to hear some imaginary team got broken down the side of the road again in their car. I want to hear that they are on their way with lashes and extensions. That's what I want to hear. But I don't have that team yet. But this video is about adding somebody to my team. Oh my gosh, that I'm so excited about. It feels like I just got a glam team for my writing. That's what this feels like because your girl officially has a literary agent. And just even saying those words, it feels like fairy godmother came in my life and saw me crying, watching everybody else at the ball and said, girl, let's get you there. And I'm both characters in those stories because I realized in waiting and watching everyone at the ball that unless I was going to take steps towards my dreams, even though I'd been heartbroken in those areas, they were not going to happen. And so I'm so proud of myself for keeping going. And I've been talking to you about that entire process of what it feels like to show up for your dreams when you've been discouraged and heartbroken and the path along the way did not look like what the internet shows you or what other people in your life show you. This is what it feels like to go after something that is challenging and that pushes you and that makes you confront the broken pieces of your heart in your own story. And so I feel it's just as important to talk about the excitement as it is the struggle. And that is what I'm doing here. I'm going to tell you everything and what it feels like and what the struggles have been and what the celebrations have been, because it often looks like when people reach their dreams that they just got there. And it's made people like me look on the internet like, I am never going to get there. Like, look at how easy that was for them. All they had to do was just, oops, oopsie, I just landed exactly what I wanted my whole life. And for me, there's been no oopsie except me tripping over the absolute potholes that other people have caused in my beautiful imaginary road to the path of my dreams. You know, I've fought for my life against the people that have come into my metaphorical house with dirty boots on and gotten in my bed because I didn't know how to have boundaries. It has felt like wrestling a dinosaur with a boulder on my back to even put together this book. And not because writing the book was hard. I wrote it in 30 days, and it is so easy for me to write. I'm creatively writing and comedically writing every single day, all day. I love it. It's so easy for me. What made it hard was I had to cut the bungee cords that people's words had connected to me. And then on the other side of them was a boulder. And so what it felt like was I would take one step forward and then get snapped back and hit in the back of the face and stabbed in the back because all along my journey, there were people that didn't believe in me, that didn't love me the way that I needed to be loved, that didn't support me as an artist. And so I was constantly looking for my oxygen outside of me, and it really took the last few years and building here in the way that I have to remind myself that my oxygen and my play and my creativity is always going to come from myself first, and everything else is just the confetti around me. Like, I'm going to have my own beautiful, amazing, magical party and my sparkling heels, and I'm going to celebrate all my successes. And then when other people throw the confetti for me, it just makes it all that much better. But I have my own celebration in and of myself first. And so in this process of even going out and trying to find an agent, I've been telling you that story about what it feels like to put together all of the supporting papers of what a book needs to pitch to an agent. And I've already learned so much, but one of the things that felt so frustrating to me was that writing these pieces of paper felt like I was literally being asked to speak a different language that I don't know. I am very imaginative and metaphorical in my writing, and I write comedically, but there's also deep heart in there, which is like very familiar to you because you're here and this is how we have this conversation. But the supporting pieces of paper that a literary agent needs is way more structured and less sparkly. And so it was hard to tone that down and get it in the form that would make sense to them for pitching this project. And it felt so frustrating because I felt like I'm having to learn a whole new world that doesn't feel fun. One of the reasons why it's a struggle to learn a whole new world is that our brains are literally fighting against us when something new is presented. And knowing this has changed my life. I did not know that the brain was doing this, and me knowing my brain and working with my brain so much all day, every day, it was so helpful to learn this because when we're presented with something new, our brain is trying to keep us safe. And so a lot of times when there's something new that's introduced, our brain is trying to figure out why it won't work, why it's not good, and it's trying to like assess whatever it is. And our first reaction is often like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I actually had this moment happen where I had a realization that this was going on in my brain one day at a dance lesson. So I grew up doing partner dancing, East Coast swing, West Coast swing is my favorite. And I was at a local West Coast swing dance, and the instructors were teaching a very complex, very hard new dance move. And I immediately, like, my brain was like, no, I can't do this. Like, I'm not going to do this. And I picked up on that. I was doing that right in the middle of the dance lesson. I was like, oh, my brain's doing it. Okay, so how do I work with my brain to help me like get it so that it will accept that this is not bad. It's just new. It's not like something that I can't do. It's just something I'm not familiar with. And so I was literally doing that inside my brain in the middle of this dance lesson. And I will say I didn't learn that move like completely. Like, I definitely don't have it, but it made learning in that class much more relaxed and enjoyable because I wasn't trying to fight my brain and my feet at the same time and trying to get them to communicate when my brain was like, I'm not doing this, I can't do it. And instead I was like, no, I can do it, and it's okay if I don't do it perfect. But I felt that way a lot with this process of taking steps towards getting my book published. So my dream is to become a New York Times bestselling author, okay? And the only way that I can reach that dream includes you. And so I just cannot thank you enough for your support. And when I get the pre-sale link, oh my God, you will have it Trust me, you will hear about this book all day long, because not only am I so proud of it, and this is a dream come true to even get to this point, but I feel like it's going to not only make you laugh, but it might help you in feeling less alone. And that's really like the mission of the book, is that I don't want anyone to feel like how I felt, is just sitting in my struggles and my frustrations and my own mental struggles and my own life struggles, and feel like I'm the only one going through hard things. I'm the only one who's experiencing these things, because the women around me, the people around me, have dressed up their life in this fantasy of what life is really like. And so it made me feel like a weirdo. It made me feel like I'm the only one going through trauma. I'm the only one who struggled with depression. Like, why is nobody like being honest about what they're experiencing? There's no shame in going through struggles. Like, if we are going through struggles alone, they're going to be that much harder. Like, why can't we feel safe to talk about the things that we're going through? And so this book is a collection of that, of not only tea-filled stories about the villains in my life and the ghosts that have haunted me, but also my own journey of what it's felt like to, be a single mom and have to rebuild my life from scratch, and what that was like as a very young woman with 2 young children, and kind of rising up from the ashes and then building a stage off of it. But in going through this process of trying to find a literary agent, I had to confront all of these doubts and all of these places in me that felt insecure or not confident, or that my writing wasn't going to be good enough. Because when you are reaching out to agents, you're competing against everyone else that has reached out to them, and you really have to stand out. You really have to know your voice, and you really have to be a talented writer. And I did not know that in my journey of becoming a writer, that creating videos on the internet was some of the most amazing skill building exercises that I could ever have done. Little did I know. And this is one of the heartbeats of my life now. I feel like what I'm about to tell you, okay? What I'm about to tell you is so mind-blowing to me, and I wish I had known it sooner. And I hope that you take this and you run with it, because I did not know that me taking steps towards doing the things that I loved, making comedic videos, writing comedically, performing, prop hunting, all of these fun things that I did in the process of creating videos, all of the steps I took towards doing what made me happy, which was creating videos on the internet, hanging out with you guys, going back and forth in the comments, making jokes back and forth. It was actually making me a better writer. And I did not know that when you take steps towards the things in your life that make you happy, you're actually skill building for the other steps you're going to take later in your life that will also make you happy. Like, this may be something that other people have thought about. I never thought about this before in my life. I never thought that taking steps towards the things that actually made me happy was going to have a result of, oh, you just got 5 years of creative writing practice where you got live feedback on how different lines landed. I had no idea that was going to be what was happening. I was just making funny videos on the internet. I was just having a great time writing skits. I was just having a great time being playful and leaning into what I was naturally great at. And little did I know that all of those things were setting me up to be extraordinary at actual writing. And I'm like, well, that makes sense now. Like, looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess all of that was creative writing. Anybody else might go, oh, that makes sense. But for me, a lot of what I was doing was all improv. So it wasn't sitting down and writing out a script every day. It was leaning into a line that I would get in my head when I'm like vacuuming the carpet or whatever it was I was doing. And I wish that somebody had said, hey, all you have to do is just take steps towards what makes you happy. Do not worry about what that's going to turn into. Just do the best that you can. Like, this is mind-blowing to me. The fact that I have been playing for the past 5 years on the internet, and oopsie, all of that play and that creativity has now made me an exceptionally skilled creative writer, is like mind-blowing to me. And now I have written before, and I had written professionally before, but my voice and the way that I'm able to articulate things is so much more fine-tuned and refined now. And I do feel like it took the last 5 years to really hone my craft in the way that I did. And I think it is part of what made me stand out to actually get my agent. And I feel like this story, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful any of this even happened. Like, I wake up every day right now and I'm just like, I'm feeling so overwhelmed with happiness that it feels scary. And I'm sure my therapist will be hearing about this because it feels like, am I allowed to be this excited? Am I allowed to like feel this much joy? Like, is this how people genuinely just go through life with this level of happiness and excitement? Like, I have felt in my body so much joy because this has happened. And I feel like I'm not expecting the shoe to drop, but then I'm like, well, should I expect it to drop? Like, I don't know. Like, there's so much going on inside me that I'm just trying to just breathe and just celebrate every single little sparkle and glimmer of happiness right now and not overthink it, which, that's a challenge. But I sent this book to 26 agents and it took me 26 hours to send it to them. And that's not including probably the 20 hours that it took me to write the query and all the other papers that support the actual book. So one late night session as I'm sending my book to random agents that I'm finding on ChatGPT because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. I'm just like, here's my book. I think it's funny. I don't know who the best person is to represent this. So ChatGPT was giving me names and I was just sending it to whoever I felt like would get this book and also it would fit maybe their roster because every agent has different things that they're looking for. And you have to send it to a lot of agents because sometimes that agent already has a book that's like yours that they're representing, so they might not want yours. So I was planning on sending my book to at least 40 agents, if not 50. Like, that was in my mind. So I'm on agent like 23 this one night at 12:38 a.m. And I typed in the name that ChatGPT gave me and the picture of the agent comes up. And this man's name was Jim. And I'm so grateful for Jim in my story because Jim, when his face popped up, I looked at him and I just stopped everything. And I told my husband, who was on the other side of my computer screen, I was like, babe, this guy looks like he has a collection of coffee mugs and he drinks his coffee black and he feeds neighborhood cats and he probably has a favorite cardigan sweater. He looks like the kind of guy who would give you the best kind of hugs. And so I'm going on like explaining to my husband what Jim looked like to me. And I finally turned the computer around and my husband said, yeah, he does look like he gives the best hugs. So I sent my book to Jim and Jim got back to me right away, like probably within 24 hours. And agents generally do not get back to authors before like 6 weeks. Like, it's common that they take 60 to 90 days because they're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of inquiries every day. So they are not able to go through that many that quickly. So I was expecting not to hear back from anyone for months. So when I heard back from Jim, which I think I mentioned Jim on my last podcast, if I remember correctly, because he said no, but he said, hey, this isn't a good fit for me. Why don't you send it to my colleague, Stacy? And now at the time that he told me this, I did not know that when an agent says no to you, they're saying no for the whole agency. Like, if you get a no from that agent, you're done. Like, go somewhere else. It's not for them. And so I didn't know that when he was saying, hey, I'm going to refer you to my friend, that was, yes, that was a little foot in the door. So I sent it over to her and I said, hey, this is a referral from Jim. And I heard back from her in a day. And I couldn't believe it. I'm laying in bed on Saturday morning and I pop over my email and I saw her name and I clicked on it and my brain was not registering what she was saying. Like, it said, hi, Julie. Thank you so much for sending me over your sample chapters. I absolutely love them. I love your voice. I love what you're doing. I love this project. I would love to talk to you about this book. And I am sitting there in my bed and I'm like, babe, like, here, look. And he was just like so happy and I was so happy. And I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, I wanted I wanted this, but I didn't want to like dream too much, because if I dream too much, maybe it would happen. Then I would have like all this disappointment if it didn't happen, but I had to take steps towards it. And even if it didn't happen, I was going to try and self-publish it. Like all these things are rushing through my mind. And I just was like, oh my God, this literary agent loves my voice, and she loves the book, and she loves what I'm doing in the book. And the whole heartbeat of the book is I want to make people not feel alone and comedically share ridiculous, relatable things, and also talk about trauma, talk about anxiety, talk about these things that we experience in life. And the fact that she loved the way that I was doing it, I was just shocked. And I ended up writing her back after a couple hours and just being like, just breathe, like, like trying to like regulate myself. So I end up writing her back, and I was trying to sound so cool, okay, but I was internally screaming, which I said that. I was like, I'm trying to sound cooler than what I am, but I am screaming inside right now. Thank you for reading my work. Thank you for giving me your feedback. And I eventually set up a meeting with her, and before I did that meeting, I looked up who she was. And I'm really glad that I didn't realize what level of agent that she was before I sent over my work, because I would have gotten intimidated. Yeah, I don't know that I would have sent it over. I feel like what I would have done was try to make it better, because she is the vice president of the agency that represents Colleen Hoover, and she is an expert agent, and she's extremely intelligent, amazing, kind, loving, and extremely known in her world. And I am so honored that she took the time to read my work, and I'm so honored that she not only loves my voice, but really loves what I'm doing, and that she's excited about my book and my project and excited about working with me. And I just felt so elated and so honored that she would take the time to encourage me and read it and say, hey, like, no, I love what you're doing. Let's talk. So when I got on the meeting with her, I sat right in this chair, and I cannot even say what a great fit this is. Like, she is just so darling and so delightful and so kind, and she is somebody who really loves her authors and really supports them and gets behind their projects and really advocates for them. And I'm just so grateful that we connect like we do, and she feels like somebody who's going to come alongside me and really make this happen. And that is incredible, because I don't know how to pitch to publishing houses. I don't know what I'm doing in terms of that world. I know how to write. I know how to tell a comedic story and make a skit, but I don't know that world. And so it feels so nice for me as a creative to not have to know how to do all those things, and I can have somebody on my team now that knows how to do things that I don't know how to do. And I felt like there's a lot of areas in my life where I've had to learn all these different worlds because I didn't have a team of people doing anything. Like, all of this has been me. Everything you see, all the editing, all the writing, everything has been me. And so to have somebody that could like help with the book cover and help with naming the book and kind of help me navigate that world is incredible. And I was so grateful that I got to tell her about you. And I got to tell her about you and how you have been the most incredible hype support friend group that I have ever had. I can unequivocally say that I have not had support from people in my life the way that I've had support from you. And it is wild to say that, but it's very real in the artist community, and it's very real in entrepreneurial life that a lot of times friends and family don't get it, but I'm really glad that you do. And so I'm super grateful. So I want you to know that when I have the link for this book, you will know about it. I will not stop talking about it. Trust me, you will not miss it. If you're looking at my videos, looking at my stories, you will know when we're doing pre-launches. But I want you to know that I am really, really passionate about getting on this New York Times bestseller list, okay? I want my little Julie to be screaming because she's the one who started writing for us. I started my first novel when I was 9, and I used to use writing as a way to cope with what was going on in my life. And so I want to make her so proud, and part of the way I'm going to do that is we're going to sell a lot of books. I think it's 5,000. I think you have to sell 5,000 in the first week in order to reach the New York Times bestseller list, which I feel like that's going to be easy for us to do. But I'm going to need everybody on board. Like, we are all going to need to get on board because oh, this would just be such a dream come true. And like, I genuinely have been going to sleep at night every night for the last 4 years, thinking about what it is going to feel like to be in a room with you, to be signing books with you. I have all of these moments that I want to share with you and meet you in person and all these things. And I feel like the book is just the beginning, okay? Wonky side ponies, and the book is just the beginning. But one thing I want you to remember is that when you're seeing these moments of glimmers and of success and all these things, I want you to understand that there is joy and grief going hand in hand. And joy and grief going hand in hand is so much more normal than just talking about, oh my God, this is all the good things that are happening all the time and like I don't struggle ever. I feel like when joy and grief come together and you can accept them both in your life, it becomes way easier to give the microphone to joy, because when grief is being stuffed down like a beach ball underneath the pool, it's gonna pop up and hit you in the face, okay? Feel all the feelings, acknowledge them all. And part of me acknowledging my feelings is recognizing that when I talk about things that are going well for me or that are a celebration in my life in this space, oftentimes my body starts to feel anxiety immediately. And the reason why, I think, is because there were times in my life where when something good was happening for me, it was not safe. And it put me in a position where other people around me that were really dysregulated and very toxic and very controlling would try and pop all my bubbles and get me back into a place of feeling depressed or feeling anxious or not believing in myself, because a lot of people were threatened by other people succeeding or other people being a mirror to their own insecurity. And sometimes people are not ready. They're not ready to deal with their own insecurity, and so they project onto other people. And it's part of the reasons why I've struggled so much in the highs and lows in my life, is that I have these people that have come in my world and told me, you're not going to do it, you can't do it, you're not going to write a good book, nobody's going to buy what you're making. All of these people who I love. I mean, I loved these people, and they were the first ones to try and make me feel small. And so now being in this place where these things are happening that are really amazing big things, I'm not even telling some people because they have not held space for my grief, and they definitely don't know how to hold space for my joy. And so here you are, you find out, and we're going to do this together. So if you've ever been a place where you felt like, listen, the path to reaching your dreams is not a straight line. Okay, I know you've seen those memes where it's like you're like going all over and there's like pits of like glass and then there's like sharks coming out. That is what it has felt like for me. I didn't just get here. Ma'am, mister, sir, I have been fighting for my life for the last 5 years. I've been fighting for my life since January of this year, okay? I survived the wilt, all right? And in the middle of the wilt, I happened to write a manuscript. I hope that you can see some of yourself and my story so that you don't feel like you're alone, because I feel like I only ever hear the good glimmery parts of people's stories. And I'm like, tell me the part where you doubted yourself. Tell me about the moment where you had to show back up for yourself when you felt knocked down. Because me even sending this book out to agents was that for me. And you know what I did after I sent it out to agents, before I heard back from anyone? My husband and I celebrated. We cheers, we toasted. And the thing that I have learned so profoundly recently is that you're going to have to chill your own champagne, baby. You are going to have to celebrate yourself, the big, the small areas, because a lot of people that are looking from the outside will not know how significant it is for you to have shown back up to your dreams again, okay? A lot of people will not know the strength and the courage that it took for you to say yes to yourself again when people try to bring you down, when people broke your heart, when you heard all the negativity, when people told you that you couldn't do it. So for me, before I heard back from anyone, I wanted to celebrate the fact that I showed back up for my dream and I said yes, even when people told me I would never write a good book, and even when people tried to make me feel small on my gifts, talents, and skills. So that's what was happening behind the scenes. My husband and I were cheering and toasting and celebrating. And when I found out that Stacy wanted to sign me, we went out for dessert and we went out to Disney World and we celebrated. And that celebration meant so much more because I had been already celebrating in myself those small steps that were really the big ones, because I could not have met Stacy if I was not willing to show back up where I had been brokenhearted and validated myself and loved myself and let myself grieve in that area and held myself in that area and really just affirmed my dreams in that area and said, you know what, girl, we got this. Even though it's been the wilt season, even though you went through the rain season, if we're going to go through these hard things, we're going to make some t-shirts and hoodies and we're going to write a book and we're going to sell it. Like, if you had to go through hard things, you know what? Make a hoodie and sell some merch. Like, that is my whole perspective on life. I remember when I saw Taylor Swift's Reputation album, and I think this is why I'm so drawn to this album in particular, but when people were calling her snakes and that whole thing was going on, the fact that she decided to make snakes the entire Reputation tour, the entire merch collection, everything around this album revolved around snakes and all these things. And I just thought, you know what? If haters are going to bring you down, put a snake on that stage and sell a hell of a lot of t-shirts. So that's what I feel like this book is to me, is if haters are going to bring me down, if people are going to harm me and treat me terribly and criticize me and make me survive them, well, they're gonna get a whole chapter, baby. Like, they're gonna get a whole chapter and let me cook. And trust me, I do. And the tea is piping hot. And I go in, and you'll get all of it. You'll get all of it. The way I sit down with you, I pour a piping hot cup of tea and I let you sit, savor, and I let them simmer. Because the way that these people tried to take me out. And so, you know what? I wasn't going to talk about it, but now I sure will. And you're going to get a whole chapter. This book is going to be like Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mother Died mixed with Mean Girls Burn book. That's what this is going to be. And there's going to be some side quests. There's definitely going to be some learning, some deep diving. Grab a highlighter, grab a snack, grab a glass of something. Because bestie, this book is going to be amazing. So thank you again so much for your support. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for liking, subscribing. Thank you for commenting on my videos. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thank you ahead of time for pre-ordering my book, because I cannot wait to continue this journey with you. You guys have changed my life. I would not be able to be doing the things that I love every single day without your love and support. And the fact that I'm even able to show up to my story in a way that feels like me and feels like home and feels like I can breathe and just be myself. The way that you've given me permission to show up to myself and my comedic writing and my skits and even my story with confidence and with encouragement and support. I have gotten so many messages. Everyone's been asking. No, I really have so many DMs and so many comments on my videos like, where's this book? How can I buy it? I will let you know. Trust me, I will let you know. But right now we are still in the process of getting an editor. So I have to go right now because I'm going to be working on getting some things over to my agent. But thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. I will never stop thanking you. And I'm glad that you're here even listening to my story. I hope that this has been encouraging to you, inspiring to you. I hope that it has helped re-energized you to lean into the parts of you and your story and your dreams that maybe you set aside, because bestie, it is not too late. It's not too late, okay? Whatever age you are, that's just the percentage of your life that you've gotten through, okay? Even if you're 50 years old, you're only 50%, baby. 50%? Let's do it. Let's do it, okay? Look at your age. That's the percentage of life that you're at. You are not done, okay? You're just getting started, all right? I'm 38 years old. 38, okay? I've been wanting to be a New York Times bestseller my whole life. But you know what? We're here now. So thank you again so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I hope that you get a perfect pony this week, and I hope that even if you do look like a founding father, you make it iconic. Okay, love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.